On.
Thank you for joining me for lesson 127 and 128 of Sefer HaMitzvos daily study. For the first lesson, lesson 127, we are studying negative mitzvah 154, which is following the prescribed order of tithes. What it says in Exodus 22:28 is, the fullness of your harvest and of the outflow of your presses you shall not delay. So it's forbidden to deviate from the order of the harvest tithes prescribed by the Torah. Bikurim, that's the first fruits taken to Jerusalem and given to the priests, is the first gift given from the harvest. Typically, this is at average 1/50th of your harvest, so first you do the bikurim, then you separate the truma gedolah, which is 1/50th average. It can be less. You could for the truma gedolah, which you bring to the priest, could be as little as a kernel if you were super stingy, but you would do 1/50th of your harvest. You give to them. It could be if you were not so generous, it could be 1/40th, it could be 1/60th. So you would bring that to the priest. Then one separates 1/10 of the remaining harvest for the first tithe, and then 1/10 of that remaining amount to do your second tithe. Remember, the second tithe every 3 years goes to the poor. The truma is given to the priest. The first tithe is given to the Levite, and the second tithe is what happens to that second tithe. Remember, we did the bikurim, like your first fruits, then the truma gedolah, which was like 1/50th, and then 1/10 went to the Levite. Then the next 10th, that is going to you, so that tithe is eaten by the owners in Jerusalem, and every 3 years, that second tithe that we would eat in Jerusalem goes to the priests, or excuse me, to the poor. If you don't follow this order, if one separated a later tithe before one should have before one that should have preceded it, so you do out of order, though that is valid, you've transgressed the prohibition of keeping to this prescribed order of the tithes. Okay, 128, lesson 128. Two mitzvahs, two negative mitzvahs, negative mitzvah 133 and negative mitzvah 134. First of all, negative mitzvah 133, a non-priest is not allowed to eat the priestly tithe. The negative mitzvah comes from Leviticus 22:10, where we'll also get the next mitzvah. It says, no non-priest shall eat of the holy food. An individual who is not a priest may not eat of the teruma, the priestly tithe, nor and remember that teruma could come from that first 50th, and also when the Levite gets the crop that they receive as a gift, they give 1/10 of that to the priest. So no one's allowed to eat that except a Cohen, a priest. So if anyone else eats it, then if they did so unintentionally, they have to basically they have a penalty on that. But somebody who did it intentionally, they receive lashes for rebellion, and they also are going to receive kares. We talked about that in the past, which is being cut off, and that's understood not just to mean that they're cut off, like excommunicated. No, they're God Himself punishes them, either with a early death, or and by the hands of heaven, so some accident or something like that, or that person may lose their world to come. So that's the punishment for doing so. Now, when we say a non-Cohen, it could even be a member of the Cohen's household. If they are, for some reason, not allowed to have it because of some from some improper relationship that they had, or some improper situation in their upbringing, those could negate that person from being able to partake of the truma. All right. Then the next mitzvah, negative mitzvah 134, a priest's servants from consuming the priestly tithe. So Leviticus 22:10 goes on to say, a tenant of the priest or a hired servant may not eat the holy food. The tenant, which we would understand to be a Hebrew servant indentured until the Jubilee, until the Yovel, of a priest, as well as the priest's hired servant, and this we would understand to be a Jewish servant who is serving out a 6-year term, may not eat the truma, even though they're in the household of the priest. They don't get special privileges to be able to eat from the priestly tithes. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day in every way.